Hello and welcome back. This is the next in our series of videos looking at Croydon Travel's hosted tours. We're still on the tour of the five stands. My previous discussion was with Vicky, who put together that tour, and she ran us through everything you need to know about that tour. So if you haven't seen that video, check that out. I'll put a link to it below. But today is an opportunity to meet the host of that tour, Jo Taylor. Jo, welcome.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. Now, you couldn't join the discussion with Vicky and I because you were away traveling. I think you were actually in the five stands, were you? Is that correct?
Not exactly. I was there the trip before that. So,
No.
yeah, I was on the Kimberley coast this time.
It's hard to keep up. You're very busy, so maybe that's a good place to start. You're hosting a lot of tours. How long have you been doing this for?
Yeah, so I started traveling in 2007. I hadn't actually traveled before internationally, and I moved. Had a bit of a career change from policing in New South Wales and moved across to the travel industry, and I haven't looked back since.
That is a career change, though. I guess some of those police skills might come in handy on some of these tours. Huh?
Yep, yep, they do.
Do you know how many tours you've been on? Have you kept count?
I think with different companies, probably in the 80, maybe 85 region
Wow.
from different tours.
Yep. That's amazing. And Vicky was saying, and she specifically sought you out because not just because you're a very experienced host, but you're particularly experienced in this area of the five stands, which is new to a lot of people. So you've been there recently, but you've been there quite a few times. What is it about the five stands that's, I guess, a bit unique?
Probably it was one of my first tours when I started traveling, and I just fell in love with the stands. On that particular occasion, I didn't travel to all five, but went to Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan, and I just fell in love with it and just kind of got the idea of, or the dream of, like the camels, or the caravan of camels kind of striding along over the mountainous regions, and people kind of buying and selling, silk and spices, and just chatting and exchanging stories. And yeah, it just became quite magical and romantic for me.
It sounds amazing. It does sound like it's sort of trapped in time. When was that? When was your first trip over there?
So 2007.
Okay.
And things have gone along. It's improved in tourism, but it's still remote. It's still, a lot of people still don't get there, which is sad. And that's why I'm so excited to host a tour back there, because there is just so much to see and do, and the people are wonderful. It's just incredible.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of fives. There could be that scenario where once you've got a red car, you see red cars everywhere, but it feels like it's a bit of a growing destination. It's getting a lot more interest. Is that your impression that more and more people are wanting to get there?
More and more people are, but I just don't think that there should be more. It is just a magical place, or they're magical countries to go to, away from the norm. If you want something different that's, not too modernized or cosmopolitan, well, then these are the places. But in saying that, Almaty in Kazakhstan and Bishkek in Kyrgyzstan, they're kind of meeting that, being cosmopolitan as well. But it's just greatly remote, authentic, and adventurous.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it sounds like an amazing experience. I guess there are still challenges to traveling in countries like this. So what are some of the things that people can sort of rely on the host to be helping them with that would otherwise be quite difficult if you were traveling there, perhaps by yourself for the first time?
I think obviously language is always a barrier. So we've obviously, I don't speak all of the languages, but obviously our guides are there to help us along. Solo, if you're an independent traveler, you would probably find language like, a bit of a barrier, although people are so friendly that sign language, the universal sign language, kind of helps, and obviously Google Translate. Border crossings, people kind of get very concerned about that. That's one thing that, Croydon Travel look after is are the visas, and our land operators make sure that all our visas are in check. And some people get a bit nervous about the authoritative nature of some of the border crossings, which they're just people and they've just got to do a job. And it's just giving our guests confidence that, it's just a border crossing and we will get to the other side. And we always.
Yeah, no, great. And I've heard you mention a few times and other people mention how friendly the people are there. Is there much difference between the 5 countries, or are there sort of similarities culturally?
No, I think, I mean, if you look at Kyrgyzstan, it's nomadic, like everyone's friendly, so and
Yeah,
welcoming. They're just as intrigued with Westerners as what we are with them. So they're always open to discussion, as best they can communicate. As sometimes we do need guides, but other times, as I said, it's sign language and kind of pointing, and particularly, people say with blonder hair, they're kind of a bit more noticeable. And we have ladies in Uzbekistan, particularly, they have the goldish teeth, and you have these beautiful smiles, and they're amazed with our teeth. So it's just little things like that,
yeah,
quirky little thing that makes them, just wonderful. And you've got Turkmenistan, that they're probably a little bit more reserved, but Turkmenistan is a bit of a quirky country. And, it's still amazing. And they're slowly opening up to tourism when they want to open up to tourism. They have specific guidelines that you've got to follow. And again, Croydon Travel cover all that with our local land operators. And, you know, as much as what it may be quirky, locals are still inquisitive. And, Kazakhstan, it's not. I mean, I just always remember Borat, and it's nothing like that anymore.
okay.
But back when it first started to just go into tourism, was you kind of thought, oh yeah, Borat lives here. But it's just an amazing place, and they've actually taken hold of that publicity and really grown with their tourism there. And it's just the people are fun and friendly, and it's just beautiful.
I love that they've embraced Borat as a tourist icon. That's amazing. Now, we went through the itinerary with Vicky in quite a bit of detail, and there's a lot, obviously. It's a 22-day tour. You're visiting 5 countries. I imagine there's lots of highlights, but from your experience, what are perhaps some of the standout things that other clients have sort of really taken away with them as unique memories?
Well, I think just the difference in the countrysides. You've got mountainous regions in Tajikistan and Kazakhstan, but you've got that cosmopolitan area in Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan. And then historically, you've got the mosaics and the beautiful madrasas and minarets in Uzbekistan, marble buildings. People just, as I said, Turkmenistan is quirky. You've got empty streets lined with huge marble buildings. The library is a marble book. A dental hospital is replicates a tooth. It's just weird and wonderful and quirky. Wow factors. Look, I mean, I feel sorry for the little rabbits and stuff, but they're traditional eagle hunting that they do, and we do a demonstration, not necessarily with a live rabbit, but obviously it's just amazing to watch the relationship between the hunter and the eagle. The amazing lakes, the crystal aquamarine blue lakes that kind of verge onto the mountainous alpine mountains behind them, ice capped at times. And people are just amazed at the different regions, what they see and how they experience it, and the stories behind it. There's always history, there's always a cultural, um, what's the word? A cultural kind of history behind how a mountain has appeared. Uh, you know, um, Charan Canyon in Kazakhstan. That's what they call their little Grand Canyon of Kazakhstan. So everyone gets wowed by that because most people have been to the Grand Canyon, but then you come into Kazakhstan and you have a look at this Charan Canyon and you think, wow, this is just as good.
Okay, no, amazing. I mean, yeah, you've certainly painted a great picture of some of the sights and sounds, and that's a big part of traveling, obviously, is seeing all these unique things. But the other part of a hosted tour is you get to share that experience with
Yeah.
like-minded small group, and you get to know people pretty well. And in our case, we're just selling this to Croydon Travel's community, so everyone has something in common usually. I can imagine you form quite good relationships as well. The host is integral to that relationships. How has that been, being on tours? Have you sort of got friends that you've made from these tours, and what can people expect in terms of the group dynamics on a 22-day tour like this?
Well, I think 18 to 20, is a great number. It allows you to be comfortable in the coach when we're traveling by road, because I just find the coach travel amazing through these countries. My husband says, "Don't take photographs out of windows, because of the reflections," but you just can't help yourself because there's so many different things to see, and everyone starts to get interested in the regions, the people, what they're seeing, and all of a sudden they start to talk. It's just an automatic thing that, people just start to have these wonderful days of traveling and then talk about it over their dinner over night time. And it's very easy. Like, people who travel into these countries are very like-minded and are really good travelers. And I think they're always open to discussions, listening to what other people, what they're experienced in their lifetime, and that continual learning about other cultures and other people. And
Mm.
I think it's very easy for people to mix in a small group like this, and even our solo travelers, they feel comfortable because there's obviously other solo travelers, but all of our couples are quite open to welcoming people who are traveling on their own, and discussing what's happening during the day or what's going to happen the next day, with anticipation.
Yep. No, it's a great dynamic, and that's been the feedback we've had from the tours we've done so far. People have really formed great friendships. They've enjoyed having the host with them the whole way, and many of them are now booking on the next tour, either with friends from the original one or with the host from the original one. So you do form these relationships, which is why we wanted to give people a chance to meet you, which was the purpose of the call. So thanks for coming on and sort of letting us get to know a bit more about you, but also for painting a picture of this amazing location. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, and I'm looking forward to it, and it certainly won't disappoint people. I'll go back there in a heartbeat anytime.
Yeah. So just to remind people, our Five Stands tour is the 28th of August, 2026. So exactly a year away from when we're recording this. But now's the time to book. Obviously, these things fill up early. It's a 22-day tour. The price is $13,999 twin share, but $15,999, so just an extra $2,000 if you're traveling by yourself and want to have your own room. We've also got early bird specials and a bring a friend. If you want to bring someone else and have two rooms, then you get a discount that way. So very accessible and solo traveler friendly, this one. And as Vicky explained, the destination itself is really suited to solo travelers, but to be part of a group at a price that's really accessible is a great opportunity. So we'll put links to all that information below this video, but please reach out to Croydon Travel if you are interested in joining our group next year. And Joe will look forward to hosting you. Thanks again, Joe.
Thank you. See you soon.